Hello everyone! My name is Lydia and I am the Outreach Librarian. Today in Saturday Scribbles, I'll be showing you some Zentangle patterns to draw. You may have no idea what a Zentangle pattern is, but really, if you've ever used or seen an adult coloring book, it most likely used Zentangles on its coloring pages. When I'm talking about Zentangles, I'm talking about repeated patterns that are drawn in order to relax. They are not meant to be perfect or have any sense of order. You draw them as you please. I recommend sitting in a calming space, breathing deeply, and maybe listening to music or atmospheric sounds that please you. The tools you need for this exercise are simple: a pen or pencil and some paper. I myself am using a sketch pad and just a Sharpie pen. The Zentangle patterns that I'll be showing you are coming out of the Great Zentangle book, which I am accessing through Hoopla. Alright guys, let's begin. Alright guys, so this first Zentangle pattern, as you saw, is called Ah, and it kind of looks like a star or a snowflake, but there didn't seem to be any rules about how many lines you have to have. So really, it could look like anything. And it's a very simple Zentangle pattern. It's literally a line and then you put a dot at the end. And you can do as many lines and dots. You could do lines and no dots, or just dots, really. And you could have a nucleus in the center, or you could leave it white, or you could have little explosions coming out around the center, which is what I ended up doing. But really, it's whatever you want it to be. And I think that this design is really nice for its simplicity. You could fill a whole page with these, or if you wanted to do a smaller piece, you could just draw a little square, and this goes for all of the Zentangle patterns. Draw a little square and just fill it in as much as possible. And in the book that I'm using, the Great Zentangle book, they showed the squiggly design as well, which I thought was pretty neat. Kind of reminds me of a Pokemon. But it's just another fun way to play with the design. Throughout this video, I'll be popping in and out to tell you a little bit about each pattern, like I did with this Ah pattern. I won't talk through the whole video because I want to give you guys time to really soak in what's happening, and if you're drawing along with me, I don't want to ruin your moment. So I'll be in and out and just enjoy the silence or have something playing in the background to go along with this. And I hope you guys enjoy. This next design is called Winkbee, and I think it looks like an amoeba. That's what I'm going with. And they had several different designs that you could do, and the one that I went for is the one that has the outline and then the little mini nucleus or mini amoeba inside. And I just kind of filled it in with some dots because that's what I felt like doing. And you could do solid color ones. You could do multiple lining inside. You could do different patterns inside. Again, it's really just whatever makes you happy, whatever eases your mind at the time. But I think this is one of my favorite ones just because it looks really squishy and fun. Our next design here is called Mist, and you can think of it as a curtain with lines and different dots coming off the lines. Another thing that it made me think of is like roots in a cave system, like in the top of a sinkhole, and you see the roots coming down and the little pieces of dirt drip off. So it has a very nature-y feel, and you can do the lines really close together, or you can spread them apart. They can be straight lines, they can be squiggly lines. You don't have to do the little pieces falling off of them. I don't know if that would be a different design without that, but for some of my little squiggles, I didn't put the design, the drop-offs on the end, and I still found it calming. But it's another one that's pretty simple, and this one might be fun in a bullet journal. If you put it under like a month title, maybe. Maybe April, if you haven't done your April bullet journals yet, since April has Earth Day. Be very earthy. This design is called Fescue, I believe. If I'm saying it wrong, please don't judge me. And it kind of reminds me of like little blades of grass coming out. And it's like the ah in the sense that it's just a line with a dot on the end. They just so happen to be curved. You could curve them all in the same direction, or you could curve them in different directions like what I did. I attempted to put little shadows on the bottom, and it didn't work out great. But that's okay, because I was still enjoying it while I was doing it. And like I said in the beginning, Zentangling, for me at least, is more about just the act of relaxation, not having to worry if it's perfect, just having a good time. And here I'm just putting little halos around everything, trying to give it more of a unified look. You don't have to do this. I believe it was suggested in the book as well, but it's personal choice. This design is called Flux, and it just looks like a plant with little leaves coming out of it, and you can do all kinds of stuff with this. You could give it an aura, which is the lines, that the outline. You can draw little circles inside, which is what I did, give it like a berry kind of feel. This would also be very good for a bullet journal as a border or a corner border. I think it would be really pretty on little greeting cards that you can give people. But the flow of it is one of the more relaxing ones, I think. I'm not sure how it would fare as filling a whole page. I'm sure it can be done, but I feel like it's more of an accent Zentangle pattern. But you do what you want. Because again, this is for you. This is your relaxation time, and this is about what makes you happy in that moment. This next pattern is called Bunzo, and it's really cool looking, but pretty much from the get-go I realized that my picture was not going to look as great as the one in the book. And that's okay. It was a little frustrating at first because, I wanted them to be as perfect as they could be, but it all turned out fine. And with a lot of these more complicated Zentangle patterns, you have to be easy on yourself and just enjoy the experience and not worry about it looking perfect. in the end, they all kind of look cool anyway. And I don't feel too bad because even the author of the book said that they struggled with this one as well. And it's kind of cool. It looks like little twisters or some kind of seashell. And in the version that they have in the book, they have alternating black and white stripes, and then they have little highlight patches. And a lot of the more hardcore Zentanglers out there can get really into putting highlights and shadows and midtones in their pictures. And I don't normally do that. I usually just put really dark shadows or really bright highlights if I so choose. But I encourage you to explore and try different things. And you don't have to do alternating colors with this one. I think you could do any kind of color combination or even leave it white and just have thicker outlines. But it's one of those that could definitely fill a page and could look super cool and psychedelic. Alright everyone, we've reached the final Zentangle pattern for today, and it is called Catkin. It's another plant looking pattern with little leaves or blossoms on it, and then just little dots around the leaves and blossoms, if that's what makes you happy. Something about it reminds me of lightning bugs, so I think it'd be really pretty if the blossoms or leaves were colored in with bright yellow or bright orange. This is another pattern that I think would be hard to fill a whole page with, but mixed in with others in tangles or mixed in with other kind of picture, I think it would work really well. And I could definitely see like a row of these at the bottom of a page, almost like a field of them, and just have the different pretty colors radiating off of the blossoms. And even in the Great Zentangle book, it was suggested to add highlights to the blossoms so that they stood out a little bit more. And it's another one that's simple, but the simplicity makes it very relaxing and very beautiful. And at this point, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you've learned something. I hope you've had fun and that you're going to go and create all kinds of Zentangle pictures. And I can't wait to do this again next week. Thanks.